think we're live.
I think we're live.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Live on YouTube. This is a Love Gurus podcast. We are remote, but we are live. Here comes the intro.
You think your love life is going kind of bad. If you find out your girlfriend accidentally banged your dad.
It was a mistake, so she says.
You think your romance maybe ain't the norm. If you find out your fiance has been slipping it to your mom.
Everyone always cheats with my family.
Just ask the love guru.
Like Game of Thrones.
To tell you what to do. Listen to the love gurus, or your life is screwed.
Oh, yes.
Love gurus.
Yes, that is right. You heard the man. We are the Love Gurus podcast. We are live, although not in person. You may not be able to notice as much if you're just listening on iTunes or Spotify or one of those. But if you are watching on YouTube, goddamn, are you confused, shocked, appalled, all of that? We are doing it remote because we've had COVID with people around us. You know what I mean? I don't think I have it. Suzanne doesn't think she has it. We feel great.
My test was negative, but everyone else in New York City thought, you know what's going to make my Christmas better? COVID, because I hate my family. And so
right.
Now, so now it's like, you don't know. It's. I'm not saying it's March 2020, but it is a bit scary. Although the grocery store's a dream. I mean, absolutely no one in there. The shelves aren't like completely bare. I mean, I'll go grocery shopping all day long, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, unlike March 2020, we know how to treat it, and we got a bunch of medicine inside of us. Unless you're an anti-vaxxer, then you just don't care. Either way, we're all happy. You know what I mean? Except for, I don't know, there's a lot of people that have the vaccines that are hypochondriacs, but me, I'm like, I just got my booster a couple days ago, so I'm like, you can Omicron these nuts. I don't care. I'm going to get the sniffles. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not changing my whole life to keep from fucking coughing for 2 days. Yeah. I didn't do that before. I was not Howie Mandel before this. Now that it's been downgraded to the cold for me, I'm not, I'm not going to go crazy. But
I also got my booster. And I think really what we have achieved as a society is to be able to make a clinic out of random items. Okay. Like what we call a clinic now is not what they like. I went and I got my shot at the Dwayne Reed, and I was like, why are these toilet paper rolls? Oh, this is I get my shot behind this. Okay, great. Okay, sure, yeah, whatever you're gonna inject it, don't mind. Okay, thanks.
The place I got it was so ratchet. I got mine at a Chuck E. Cheese. They gave me 25 tickets as an incentive. They were like, here's from the new intermittent governor or whatever. Here's go get yourself a little tchotchke from the gift stand.
There's enough hypodermic needles in the bouncy castle anyway. Like, we're just gonna put a couple of them in there with the booster shot. And worst case scenario, someone gets the booster shot. It's fine.
Absolutely. But I'm excited about this show, man. Yeah. We got two hilarious stand-up comics, two returning guests, man. First up, she's a hilarious stand-up comic. You can find her on YouTube, I believe is where the little brown girl show is.
Sure.
Wait, but is it on YouTube or where is it? I was genuinely.
It's on YouTube and it's on Facebook Live, but it's like on hiatus right now. But it'll come back.
Oh shit! I'm plugging things on hiatus. Go back and watch the back catalog.
Check out my page. Yes.
Yes.
Catch up.
That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. You can catch the back catalog. But Jenny Saldaña, find her. Yeah. Watch the little brown girl show. Listen to the back catalog. She is hilarious. As is our second guest, another returning guest, and another hilarious stand-up comic, Mr. Paul Dagliolo.
Yeah.
Thank you for being back on the show.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, check that back catalog. Everyone.
Yes.
Go backwards. Go back. Check out Jenny. I also have a YouTube channel, so check me out there. Instagram, Paul D Comedy. I put it out front, so there's no guessing.
There you go. Paul D Comedy. Go find him. And you do cooking videos too, right? It's like Paulie Eats, something like that.
Yeah, live for Paul. Yeah, Paulie. I definitely eat. I'm up like
I should find this information out before the fucking shows, man.
No, it's Paul's Kitchen. I've done like 5 of them. It started just because when everything first shut down, and I was just like, there was no comedy at all, like not even a park, nothing. And I was just like, I have to do something. They would just be ranting into the void, and then people liked them. So, I do them ever so often. Should do them more, as we all should.
Oh, absolutely. No, I've been cooking more myself, man. I got a pizza oven that does propane. Little bit of behind the scenes info here on this episode. I was going to legit have a pizza party for everybody. We were going to do this in person.
Behind the wall.
Dude, I made dough from scratch. I made the sauce this morning. You know what I mean? Like crushed the tomatoes by hand, chopped the oregano. I was like, nothing can fuck this up.
An amazing cook. Jake is an amazing cook.
Jake is an amazing cook. Yeah.
4th of July party.
Jake is an amazing cook.
Oh, I haven't made gnocchi in forever, man. But yeah, the pizza's even better than the gnocchi, man. I got this propane thing that fries them up in like a minute. You hook it up outside. The thing gets like 1,000 degrees in there. It's insanely good. It was a little weird cooking with it at first because it cooks them so fast that you're like, oh, this is just burning half my pizza right away, because it cooks it faster than any like fire oven thing in a restaurant does. It just instantly just starts going. But you gotta, you figure out where to set it in the oven, when to rotate it, that kind of thing. You get it down. And I finally got it down and I was like, this is going to be amazing. But then here we go. Everybody around us is getting COVID, so we had to fucking do it here. But either way, we are going to have a good show. And definitely. To anyone watching on YouTube, I should check to see if there's any comments right now. But definitely,
I was gonna say, I actually have the comments open since we are on Zoom. And our friend Joel said, if you guys are going back to Zoom and need a guest that isn't that funny but does jingles, let him know because he knows a guy.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, we'd love to do that.
To our minds, Joel, certainly.
That's good to know.
You are very funny, Joel.
100%.
Sure. And then Tim on YouTube also said, I'll need an air fryer recommendation. I'll need air fryer recommendations at some point. Save it for later. Okay, we're on the case, Tim. Air fryer recommendations.
Dude, that's like, I don't air fryer. I've never done air fryers, man. Paul, have you ever messed with air fryers?
You can buy it's like it can either be like part of an oven or it can be like a standalone thing that like sits on your countertop. But they're supposed to be awesome. Like they, I guess, like make everything very crispy. So if you're into crispy food, it's like the air fryer makes it
very seductive. These air fryers.
Yeah.
Very. If you're into crusty old things.
Not me. I like my food mushy. All my ingredients, they all come together to make one mushy.
Have the consistency of Cheerios that have been set in milk for 3 days, I'm not eating it.
Yes. I have the moistest recipes. I've always been told that.
Wait. Amazing. Well, we've got the chat going, we've got our YouTube comments going. We should get some questions going, no?
Absolutely. Let's take our first question from the wild animals on Reddit. If you guys have dating questions, sex questions, or any questions in general, I suppose, write them into loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com, or even better, catch us live on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday. Unless we're having tech problems, which I was this time. I was trying to get the Zoom to work on my thing where I have the fancy overlays, where I can have the questions written up top. I will have that next week. Come hell or high water, I will have that shit back next week. I was unable to do it this time, but that's okay, man, because we are still going to drink some white wine. We are still going to take some questions. I'll plug the first one I'm drinking. The only thing that I love more than a good $10 bottle of white wine, it's a good $5 bottle of white wine. Oh my God. And this one is nice. Best $5 you'll ever spend on wine. Right. Simonetti Pinot Grigio. It was delicious. This thing. Am I going to say that Jeffrey Epstein would have been thrilled with this back before all the things came to light? You know what I mean? Would he have enjoyed this on his island with the Clintons and the Bushes and all the famous rich people, all the powerful people? They would have thrown this out. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not those people for, well, a lot of reasons. A, not evil. You know what I mean? But most importantly, can't afford really good wine, but I can afford cheap wine that still tastes like it should be drank by human traffickers on an island somewhere. You know what I mean? Then that's this. It's delicious, man. It's crisp. Pretty sweet, but not too like sugary sweet, like a lot of cheap wine is. It really is a $10 Kmart dress passing as something that should be on a fucking red carpet somewhere. You know?
Nice.
Simon Eddie Pinot Grigio, get you some. And now let's take our first question from the wild animals on Reddit.
Oh my God. I thought the name was Simon Eddie.
Simon Eddie. Hey, Eddie, what do you think we ought to do? I don't know, Simon. Let's make a
Simon Eddie.
You motherfucker.
I just bought this vineyard. Simon and Garfunkel broke up, but then after Simon and Garfunkel, a lot of people don't know that Paul Simon had a vineyard with Eddie Van Halen, and they were sitting out there drinking wine one day, and he was like, "Eddie, you can fucking play, man. You should really." No, I'm not just saying that because we're drunk and we have a vineyard to go. I mean, you can really tear this thing up, and that's how Van Halen was born. Drinking $5 Pinot Grigio, fucking riffing.
Founded Van Halen. I never.
Yes. Many untold stories. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't come to light yet because I don't know. There were also human trafficking at the time. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that's what was going on. So we'll find out about that after anybody that needs to sign off on it is gone. You know.
Amazing. Well, let's start with our first question on the Love Gurus podcast. First question. My girlfriend's best friend is in love with her. We're all 27, and me and my girlfriend have been dating for about 4 months now. I've met her best friend a grand total of 2 times, but I am sure that he loves her. The way he hangs on to what she says, looks at her, and is always willing to cancel his own programs when she asks are clear indicators that he has feelings. They met while in college and dated for 6 months and then decided that they're better off as friends. The clearest proof I got was yesterday. We went to an Indian restaurant and ordered fish, and the dude spent the whole time cutting her fish into smaller portions so that she could eat it easily. Sure, you do that for your friends.
What? Lady and the Tramp didn't even do that, and they were fucking cartoon dogs. This woman she's slow learning. Like, I don't think, are you sure he's not like a caretaker?
Like, hey friend, can you stop cutting my girlfriend's food?
Yeah. He continues by saying, sure, you do that for your friends, but he didn't do the same for his own girlfriend, who was also having difficulty eating the fish. At one point, my eyes met his girlfriend's.
Oh, man.
She looked so defeated. It was sad. I couldn't even imagine what she must be going through when your boyfriend of 3 years completely ignores you. Now I have to decide if I want to break up or if I want to compete with him. What do I say to my girlfriend, and should we break up? I mean, I think let's take a step back because we can't cut our own food. Once we can cut our own food, then we can be in a relationship, okay?
Yeah.
What kind of fish was it that it was?
Why was it so hard to eat?
Unless
it's sucking the bones out.
Unless it's literally the sword from a swordfish. What are you cutting?
You gotta fall
He
through.
was deboning a fish for her. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, maybe that. But again, like how it's so easy to cut fish. It's not. I mean, I can't like maybe if it was like meat or something like that. But fish is like the easiest thing to cut. Yeah, don't eat the bones. But I would be so embarrassed if my partner, like we went to a restaurant, he was like, oh, here, let me cut up my fish for you. I'd be like, we're fucking leaving. Like, I'm not with you. Like, you just humiliated me in front of all these people. Like,
right. You know, the waiter's making fun of him with the other waiters when they get backstage or backstage. Like in the kitchen, he's just going, look at that guy at table 5. He's got women on both sides who are too dumb to cut fish. He's gonna go home and he's gonna have the most idiotic threesome in the history of the planet. Both of these women are too dumb to figure out where his dick goes, man. There's just gonna be questions.
Either that or he's going to immediately call the police because he's clearly picked them up at a home of some sort.
He likes my fish.
Excuse me, officer. There's a man here with women who don't seem able to consent.
Sure.
That makes sense. Okay, bye.
Yeah. They were really happy about ordering the whole fish. They took one drink out of the wine he handed them after they came back from the bathroom. And all of a sudden they were like, I can't cut. I can't do it. He carried them both on each shoulder out to the car, and he only left a 10% tip, that cheap fuck. So that's why I'm ratting him out.
What a dick.
What a
I have a
bozo.
memory as a kid. I had a sleepover with it was 4 of my little friends or whatever. So, and then one of my friends, my mom had made pancakes in the morning, and we were definitely in 2nd or 3rd grade. I mean, we weren't tiny. And my mom had made pancakes, and my one friend goes, my mom sets the pancakes in front of her, and she goes, "Oh, it's not cut." And my mom's like, "What?" And she goes, "Oh, my mom always cuts my pancakes for me." And so my mom was like, "Okay, no problem." And so cuts her pancakes up for her.
How old was she?
The next day, my mom is totally on the phone with one of her other friends going, "Can you believe that little girl's in 3rd grade and she doesn't know how to cut her pancakes?" I was totally slagging my friend off. I was like, "Whoa, Mom."
Oh, yeah.
She's 8.
You're grown up, 20s, 30s, and not being able to cut fish. We don't cut our own fish in this house.
Yeah.
So
I breastfed until I was in the 1st grade, and I had my pancakes cut for me until I was in junior high. Now I have to have my significant other or a good friend of someone else's significant other cut my fish in my early 30s.
Yeah, that's a weird way to get cucked out. Just watching someone cut your girlfriend's fish. He's taking.
I haven't even seen porn that fucked up. Even a guy with an orange ball gag in his mouth in a porn video. But hang on, man. I mean, that's my. Don't cut my wife's fish. We're not back at the hotel yet. What the fuck?
We're not savages.
Yeah, this is crazy. We got some YouTube comments. Joel on YouTube. This is back to the wine commercial. He says, "Cheap wine in a nice Tupperware cup. Life doesn't get any better than that."
No, it does not, Joel. Okay.
Amy on YouTube says, "Can you feed her like a bird, please?" Yeah, that's the next step. That's the next step.
Be burning her.
I have to chew it and spit it into my girlfriend's mouth. She's too dumb to use her molars. She only knows how to use those front teeth that don't really mash it.
Yeah. Joel also says, "You can cut fish with a spoon." What the fuck? Exactly.
Exactly.
You can cut fish with, I don't know, your eyelashes. What?
I think he meant deboning. I think the guy was probably deboning them, because that's a skill
that's
to
a bit more
be able to take the
that's,
whole.
But it's still something that an adult person should do for their own food.
Well, right. I used to eat whole catfish all the time when I was a kid. That was one of my favorite dishes. And even though I was pretty young, and look, man, I'm not saying I was some kind of genius kid. I was dumb as fuck then, and I'm dumb as fuck now. But I would cut into that fried little river bottom feeder, and they put a lot of breading on it because it was basically all toxins out of the Iowa River that this thing had been eating for years. And you don't want to see all the weird lumpy bits and all that. You just got to cover it with a lot of breading. You know what I mean? See, the first time I had it, I'm cutting way through there, and eventually it was a little weird the first time, but I'm like, not 30 seconds into it, I'm like, I just take my fork and kind of scrape it along the ribs, because I'm not a dummy. All right. I mean, I was a dummy, but I'm not as dumb as the women in this question. And I was a dumb 8-year-old. These women are like 30 or something.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 problems. One is that they obviously can't fend for themselves as adults. B, now this person is in a relationship. Again, they've been together for 4 months. And the best friend is kind of trying to swoop in, so it would seem. But also, there's the other argument that he is just kind of that person that maybe oversteps boundaries. He doesn't necessarily have feelings for. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think
that it's
the best friend has feelings?
I think he's a lurker. I think he's using we call him lurk. He's waiting. He's using the friend angle to stay close to her. Yeah. That's why he's cutting the fish so finite. Like he said, even more than the other one, because he loves this girl more than his own girlfriend. So I think that he's hanging around, and that fish is a metaphor. Every bone he picked is like this is another bone. Yeah. And I just think he's waiting until they break up. He's the friend, so he's feeding her, fake nothings in her ear, like he's not trying.
And he has a girlfriend too. So what of her?
Girlfriend that he's been together with.
He's a double douche.
3 years.
3 years.
Double duty.
Yeah, this is
He's been
weird.
with this girl for 3 years, so I don't know.
Which means that if he's been with his girlfriend for 3 years and these people have only been together for 4 months, there was an opportunity where she was single, and if he did want to swoop in, he could have, during that time. So why didn't he try and get together with her 4 months ago?
Because he still got this other girlfriend. He still has
He's like, if I break up with her, who's gonna cut her fish?
Yeah. Now I've gotten confused on the fish cutting and the whole sort of relationship. So you're saying he's sitting next to his own girlfriend?
It's a double
yes.
date. It's a double date. He sat next. The best friend is sat next to his girlfriend.
And this is the dude writing the question, who's like my guy friend.
The person writing the question has been with his girlfriend for 4 months. They go on a double date with the girlfriend's best friend, who's a guy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The best friend cuts his best friend's fish. So the guy writing the question's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So the person writing the question is saying, well, obviously if he's doing that and he's, ignoring his own girlfriend, not cutting her fish, he must have feelings for my girlfriend.
So yeah, now he's cutting this guy's girlfriend's fish in front of him.
Yes.
That's what's going on. Okay. So ultimately, I think this guy is sort of a pussy fish cuck. And here's why. If some guy was cutting my wife's fish, well, I would pull it and I would start cutting it. And I would be like, listen, she may be too dumb to cut her own fish, but she's my woman who's too dumb to cut her own fish. You don't cut another man's woman's fish. Fuck you. I will stab you like that guy in Jaws did in his early 30s, which is why he has to live in that weird fishing town on the outskirts. That's what I would do. And in terms of like his girlfriend, she must be the saddest, most emotionally, and I can assume physically abused woman. Look, I'm rewatching The Sopranos right now. Not even Tony Soprano would have cut the one-legged Russian woman fish in front of Carmela. Even he was like, I'm not cutting the fish. I mean, that's, you don't cut your Goomba's fish in front of your wife. Even he would have told you that. And so I'm like, I don't know. I mean, this guy's fucked up, but the guy who's writing the question
of intimacy. I mean,
it's weird.
So do you guys think that there's hope for the relationship, or do you think it's totally doomed?
It's doomed. It's doomed.
I guess both. Yeah, good question. So I think that I agree with Benny.
Relationships are doomed.
Yeah, the person writing the question, his relationship is doomed, and it doesn't matter about the best friend or whatever. Again, it's just like someone is as you guys have said, someone is cutting his partner's fish, and it's just like, that is so, it's just weird. And how do you go out in society with someone like that? What if they go out with another couple and she sat there looking at like his boss, like, how come no one's cutting my fish? What's up? Get on this monk.
Right, she's leaning into other dudes at the table asking for fish cutting. I mean, that you don't want to be with a woman like that.
Yeah.
She's whispering in a dude's ears, hey, you want to cut my fish? And he's like, that's a metaphor, right? No, very literal. I'm too stupid to get bit. I'm just willing to cut my fish.
It gets to the point where literally the only restaurant he can take her to is Benihana's, because they're like,
no, we'll cut your fish for you.
But the second the Benihana guy does it, he's so pissed off about this ordeal that he has a flashback, like a non-vet playing with firecrackers. He just lunges across that grill. You don't cut another man's woman's fish. And the guy's like, what the fuck is this? I'm never working at a Benihana in Florida ever again. This always happens. It's like a weekly basis this shit happens.
Yeah. Here's my final advice is, look, it's obviously a weird situation. It's also weird that you're allowing this to happen, but I think ultimately your relationship is doomed. Whether the best friend has feelings or not, this just seems like a weird situation. And so you guys should break up. What do you guys have as final advice?
Yeah, dump that bitch.
I would say dump her, or let's all cut each other's fish and just have a big orgy. I mean, maybe
yeah.
Or maybe
I mean,
maybe this guy and the girl not getting her fish cut should hook up and let these two to their devices. They've known each other since college. They figure each other out. These two walk away.
Like, do you believe I would have cut your fish first if I dated you?
Yeah.
With her, and it's just the backwards love story that we all hope for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I did hear that when Fleetwood Mac started recording the album Rumors, they had a meal at a Long John Silver's. I don't know if this is related. Could be a coincidence. Could be a total coincidence. I think not.
Just secondhand news.
Yeah. Joel on YouTube says catfish is so easy to debone. Just like Jake said, scrape from the spine towards the bottom, and you've got a boneless fish. Fucking A, man. And that's just the way most fish work, honestly.
Yeah.
Amy on YouTube says, if one boyfriend cuts his wife, cuts a wife, if one boyfriend cuts his while,
that's
cuts
like I
his
think
while,
one
the
boyfriend
fish
cuts while the other girlfriend's fish is being cut. How important is the fish when the two fish meet at the same time? Amy, you need to lay off the PCP, okay? I corrected a lot of words in there.
She's saying that the fish are going to come back to life and be like, this relationship is fucked. They're going to jump off the table and then jump onto another table of people that deserve to consume them.
I like how the fish is also Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. It's the only cartoon animal I know how to do. So they all talk like Mickey Mouse, but he sounds like his Mickey Mouse underwater. Yeah. Joel on YouTube says the relationship can be saved, but only if the boyfriend invests in Gerber's pike puree or a salmon slushy.
What a delicacy, I must say.
Pre-cut salmon.
Yeah. Joel says, it's a good thing I'm married. I have a feeling that, hey, baby, I'd love to cut your fish as a pickup line would never get me laid. Yeah, I mean, only.
I totally, when I heard that, I did a Kegel.
That felt
baby,
very American Psycho.
Fish.
That's very American Psycho. That's very like,
yeah.
I'm crossing my legs really tight.
I just went into defense mode automatically.
Yeah. I did a bat Kegel. It reminded me of my time at Rikers. That line. Creeps in cell block D.
Well, amazing. Well, I think we answered that question.
I think so. Wait, let me give my final advice. My final advice would be, I don't think that both these relationships are doomed. I think that the other relationship is a very good relationship because that lady's clearly very dumb, and this guy's clearly very dumb for just doing this shit. And he's even cutting the wrong fish. If you're with two women who's too dumb to cut fish, right? One of them's your girlfriend, other one is just some lady. You cut your girlfriend's fish, right? You cut your dumb girlfriend's fish. You let that other dumb lady fend for herself. Maybe she chokes on a bone. Maybe some smart fella or smart lady or smart non-binary person cuts it for her, right? But either way, she fends for herself. You cut your girlfriend's fish. If not, you're a dummy. You're almost as dumb as the lady who can't cut fish. So that's a match made in heaven. He's cutting everybody's fish, but she's dumb to get too dumb to care. She's like, it's fine. He's cutting my friend's fish. I don't see any problem with this. I don't see any problem with the fact that I'm 57 years old and can't cut fish. Whatever. But either way, leave them to their own devices. You, sir, must leave your girlfriend and move to a small fishing town. Go to the bar from Jaws, and that's where you meet a lady. You know what I mean? Make new friends. Make friends with the guy from Jaws and just ask him a question like, hey, you would never cut another man's fish. No, you don't cut another man's fish. And then, I mean, they just know that there. I'm not saying that he doesn't have other problems, but they're going to know that in a sea town, in a sea shanty town. That is where you do this.
Yo ho, I must say. Well, perfect. Well, I think we answered that question perfectly. Shall we move on to the
Absolutely. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, write your questions into loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. We need more crazy dating questions, or write them live in the chat every single Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. But for right now, we are going to take yet another one from the wild animals on Reddit.
Next question. My fiance called my life pitiful for not having a best man. I'm 27 and my fiance is 26. We're planning on getting married next year. We were both watching a realistic marriage movie one day and discussing our marriage plans. I told her that before, due to how I had moved around as a kid to different countries quite often, not to mention some military enrollment in my own life, I didn't really have any close friends. And I probably won't have a best man as at our wedding. We came to the topic of the wedding day and she said, "What a pitiful life you have for not having a close friend."
There was a mediocre Paul Rudd movie about this very question.
I was seriously dumbstruck as this was kind of my complex. Though she and I both enjoy spending most of the time with just the two of us, she would occasionally mention that it's sad that I don't have close friends. I was hurt for sure when I heard that, and only after me saying it's painful to hear that from my fiance, she said that it was a joke. I don't know if I should brush it off or have a deep conversation with her about it. She's been insensitive on certain topics from time to time. I can laugh at most of them, but sometimes it hurts a lot. Yeah, I mean...
This bitch is a bully. She is
Yeah.
a bully. I hate this bitch.
Yeah.
She's a bully.
She's pushing him on the playground. I'm marrying a loser. I'm marrying a loser.
Yeah.
You have no friends.
It's kind of...
So I'm going to settle for you. And I'm going to fix...
Now I'm Mrs. No Friends. Nah.
Now I'm a loser.
Yeah.
Is hire Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not working, I don't think. How I Met Your Mother's done. So yeah, he could be like the real life Paul Rudd movie and just be this guy's friend for a couple days. But what a bully! I mean, it's like, feels weird enough, and like doesn't have anyone in his life. Like really?
Well, and
he looked like he's had an interesting life. He's traveled the world. He was in the military and he's lived all over. This bitch is probably from a little 1-horse town, and that's why she's got a best friend, because she used to sleep with her best friend. Like,
she's probably had the same best friend since she was in kindergarten. Yeah, but it's weird because
she used to sleep with her. She's related to her. I mean, it's just one of those little towns.
She's related to her. Those little towns.
It's interesting because usually the stereotype is women complaining that men hang out with their friends too much. It's like, oh, you're gonna go play poker with the guys again. That's essentially why Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz broke up. Am I wrong? No. Okay. But it's interesting though. It's like, so she, but this is like the opposite thing that, she is bullying him by saying, oh, you don't have any friends. It obviously either doesn't really bother her and she is just being a dick, or she is like trying to, or she's just like so desperate to get married that she was just like, I just want to get married before, Lisa does. Like, it's a weird situation. So it's like, it kind of even brings into question, A, why she's marrying him, but also B, like, why even if she does really want to marry him, why you being a dick? Why you gotta say that?
Yeah,
Joel on YouTube.
I don't like her. She's a dick.
Yeah, she sucks.
Like
Joel on YouTube says, I've had 2 best men. Each ended up sleeping with my wives. I decided for my last wedding, I was having a maid of honor. Yay, Joel.
Joel, I think what you've demonstrated is the ability to learn and grow from a situation. You know what I mean? You didn't get up to that next wedding and say, you know what? Okay, not those other 2 best friends, but this best friend. You were like, that's it. I'm doing a maid of honor. It's like you learned from the situation, which is not something that everyone can do. For example, the previous question, they've had fish before, still don't know how to cut it. Okay.
You this was far beyond figuring out how to cut fish. I mean, you played 3D chess there. You figured out that the only way out of the storm was through. You were like, wait a minute, whoever's my best whatever is gonna fuck my wife. Oh, let's make it hot lesbian porn. Like that's genius. That's genius. That was the way to do it. That was the move right there.
Here's the other thing about not having someone in your wedding party is every time you ask someone to be in your wedding party, it's like kind of like a $400 commitment at best, because then you have to buy for women, it's like you have to buy the dress, you have to go to the bridal shower, you have to go to the bachelorette party, you have to do all these things. So you're asking your friends to spend a lot of money. So is the issue that you are like, well, I don't really have anyone that's that close that I want to ask to spend $1,000 to like prove to the world that I have a friend? It's like, or is it that you just don't have, that you are a kind of guy that has a lot of acquaintances? It's like, yeah, maybe you've just moved. Maybe you do have friends, but you just haven't spoken to them in a while. I don't know. It's just like, I also hate the stereotype that like, because I feel like I have like a small group of friends. But it's like they're good friends. But then it's like society makes me feel like I'm a douchebag because like when it's my birthday on Facebook, 1,000 people don't write on my wall. Like, well, my brother did, and that's what matters. Okay.
Yeah.
I stopped writing on people's walls on Facebook. It's too much of a goddamn commitment. I mean, it's too many.
You know what?
You're part of the problem.
I'm 100% part of the problem. I'm the leader of the problem. I'm the spokesman of the problem. I'm the problem's general. I'm rallying the problem together. I'm getting the problem in formation and fucking giving them a Braveheart speech, dude. I'm painting my face blue. I'm wearing a kilt, everything.
Yeah,
kilt.
I'm just saying
I would prefer a guy with little friends, because then the wedding will be all about me and it'll be all of my friends, and I could just invite all of my friends. Oh, he doesn't have any friends. We got both sides of the aisle. We're good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very common though. Like, if you go to a wedding of people that are like 22, the wedding party is like 10 people both sides. You go to a wedding of people in their 40s, maybe one person standing up there, and that's the person that's marrying them.
Yeah, it's looking like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. It's looking bad in the 40s. It's fucking rough.
But everyone there is a really good friend. It's like this again. This like facade of I'm so popular. I have so many friends. I'm just like, but I'm also old, so maybe that's why I'm saying it.
You have a lot of acquaintances, but how many close relationships do you have? But I agree. Like you got to get creative. Actually, my sister just asked me to be the man of honor. So yeah, the groom's sister's going to be in there. So I'm the first dude maid of honor. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
She's small, you know what I mean? And it's going to be cool. I feel like, and you know what? It's like a little, and I think we've all kind of come from some version of a small town, but it's a little like small town elitism. It's like, you don't have any close friends. I've been talking to the same people for 30 years. Meanwhile, this guy's traveled the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, right.
Also,
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Also, you can't say, oh, well, you know what? Like, actually, in your email signatures now, you need to specify your pronouns and also ask someone's pronouns before you say that. You can't like say that and like condone, you can't say that and then in the next sentence be like, oh, who's the maid of honor for your wedding? It's just like, like everyone's like, so, it's like, okay, like there's all these like, there's all this like more awareness about like trans people and like people's gender identity, etc. It's like, if, so, which is good. Like we're moving in that direction. But we're forgetting as a society this other big part, which are like weddings and wedding parties. It's like, yeah, we'll have like a gay wedding, but we still want women to be in dresses. You know what I mean? It's just
right. I mean, and it's cool that Paul can be like a man, maid of honor. Now, back when I was my sister's maid of honor, they didn't accept that shit. I had to Miss Doubtfire it the whole way. I had to just be some ugly bitch named Clarissa that no one had met before, that she met at summer camp and they were really close and just kind of looked like Steve Buscemi still. And it was very awkward. I was not good at walking around in heels, and I look even more like Steve Buscemi in makeup.
Which, just to point out, is not exactly Paul's girlfriend's name. He said
close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cara's. No, I threw an L in there, and I was thinking with the K.
Yeah, that throws them off. Yeah.
It was a more Slavic Eastern European one. I wanted to go with like hard consonants, Eastern European-y woman.
Did you wear the Miss Doubtfire dress too? Did you have a baggy nightgown?
Okay. Yeah, hairy legs and everything, dude. It was wild.
Yeah, but
huge bulge.
Yeah. My final advice for this guy is, like, I think first of all, like, ask her why she made that comment. Is she really joking? And if it bothers her, like, why is she trying to cut him like that? Why is she just trying to cut him down? And if she is kind of flippant about it and gaslights him some more by saying, oh, he's overreacting and it's not a big deal, then, it's something to keep in mind. I'm not saying necessarily break up, but have an honest conversation about why she just likes to take you out at the knees. Okay. Like, ask her.
And just FYI, Bumble has a friend option, so you can go on Bumble and make friends.
Oh, very good idea. Yes. Yeah. What
Yes,
final advice?
Joel on YouTube says it was a hell of a wedding night. He's referring to his last wedding where he had a maid of honor. It was a hell of a wedding night. The video is available on my OnlyFans for $19.95. They even cut fish for me. Yes. Fish cutting video is extra. He said, Joel says, a friend of mine trying to be more PC wanted a person of honor at her wedding. Her seeing eye talk was offended and no showed the ceremony. Very nice.
Importantly, who didn't get to go to the ceremony because the seeing eye dog didn't go? You know what I mean? Like, that dog is
true.
Probably connected to a person.
All the other groomsmen and maids of honors and stuff had like dog allergies and stuff, and
I'd like to go, but like my dog, he just.
Why are we at Kmart? I thought we were going to Sarah's wedding. What's up? Okay. So, any other final advice for this question?
Have you got anything? Okay. So what I think he should do is he should make a very, very, very close friend. And that close friend should be the bridesmaid. Yeah. The bridesmaid. You hook up with the bridesmaid. You find a time a week before the wedding where you plan it out to where your fiance is going to come home, and the door opens. You have a bunch of like candles and rose petals leading to the bedroom, and when she opens the door, she's fucking the bridesmaid, and you're like, now you don't have a best friend either. How does it feel?
It should be him cutting the bridesmaid's fish.
Yes, and then he throws a full red snapper at her and says, "Cut it yourself, you dumb bitch. I'm not cutting your fish anymore. You got to start learning how to do things on your own. I traveled the world. I was in the military. You think they cut my fish in basic training? They slapped me with whole fish and called me homophobic slurs until I learned how to cut the thing by myself."
I'm never gonna forget that line. You don't have a best friend anymore either.
That's right. It's like the end of Titus. It's Shakespearean this way.
It is extremely poetic, I must say.
You feed her her best friend to her in a pie, but metaphorically by screwing her. That's what I say.
That's what I say.
One more comment from Joel. He says, "The dog was hanging with my second best man and the whore I divorced." Makes sense now why they didn't make it to the wedding. Oh, right.
Yep. Now their OnlyFans page, not as many people are into it, but those people will drop like 50, 60 bones on it. Awesome. Niche markets pay.
Well, I think we answered that question. Shall we take our next question?
Absolutely. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, we need your questions, so send them to us at loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. Also, in the chat, let me know how the music is while we're reading the questions, because I remember it was like different when I was using Zoom audio like I am now. So if it's too loud or too quiet, let me know. Yeah, I think it recorded low. So if you guys can't hear the music, let me know in the chat if it sounds good. If it's too low, too high, let me know. Okay. But yes, write us questions at loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. We need, no, it's going to seem to us okay, like on the show, like in the Zoom, but I'm talking like on YouTube, it gets a little different sometimes, if I remember right. But we are going to take our next question from the wild animals on Reddit.
Next question. My boyfriend's dad is mad that I won't do his dishes. My boyfriend's dad had an extremely mild stroke 6 years ago. He has absolutely no side effects, drove himself to the hospital. And
now this guy has an excuse why you can't do dishes or cut fish. Like this is a little better than that first question.
Well, she's sort of prefacing it by saying it was extremely mild. Anyway, she continues on by saying, he decided that it was his sign that he should retire, so he did. A little over a year ago, he started to realize that he wasn't making as much money. So he asked if my boyfriend and I wanted to move in with him to help him save money. My boyfriend, his dad, and I split all expenses, but I usually do all of the cleaning around the house because nobody else will, and I can't stand a messy house. This week, my boyfriend went out of town with some of his friends. The next day, I came down with a strep throat. I've been eating nothing but microwavable tomato soup, and I'm literally only leaving my room to heat those up. I'm making absolutely zero mess. My boyfriend calls me this morning and says, my dad wants to know if you can clean the dishes and pick up the kitchen. I tell him that I'm super sick, so please ask him to do the dishes because they're his dishes anyway. I lay down to go to sleep and I wake up 45 minutes later and his dad had texted me saying, I need my stove cleaned and the dishes done. I text my I text my boyfriend and asked if he told his dad that I was sick. He said that he did and that he would call his dad to be sure that he knew the situation. I then hear his dad yelling, saying how I'm going to, if I'm going to stay here, I need to pull my weight, and how he's actually
she's living there. Okay.
Too sickly to do the dishes. That he pays the cost to be the boss. Great line.
There was this guy, I think, that put that in a song one day. Could be wrong. Oh, that was Smash Mouth. That was Smash Mouth in the late 90s. I think that did
and
that.
So if I want to stay here, I have to follow his rules, and he's sick of seeing the dishes piled up. My boyfriend calls me back later and told me to just ignore him, that he'll deal with it when he gets home. If his attitude doesn't change by then, we'll move. I feel like we split the costs evenly and fairly, and then he can't really say that he pays the cost. I don't want to be the reason my boyfriend and his dad fight. What should I do? I don't know. I mean, it does kind of sound like she's living with like Cletus, you know?
People are boring. I paid a car. I paid this freaking rent just so you guys. It's like obviously this guy is not a fan of women, all right? And it's like that's what it really is. It's the power trip of like this little girl staying here. You gotta clean the dishes. You gotta get a life, buddy.
Yeah, it is a weird situation because you know she's almost like Snow White in the sense that she's like the female living with these men, and they're like, hey, how come the dishes ain't done? How come? It's like, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not saying it's necessarily sexist, but it like kind of sounds like that. But it's also, she's very clear in the sense of like saying they split the costs. Now, that being said, what are the costs? Did the dad already buy the house a long time ago? And so, yeah, he's like, taxes on it.
I think it's something small. We would have gotten the details there. Again, we point this out once a week. Anytime that we don't get a lot of details that seem important when we're getting a lot of other details around it, usually not a good sign because this is their pro-them propaganda. It's their MSNBC, their Fox News, or North Korean state-run news if they happen to inherit the entire country. So when they just say, I don't know, costs, I don't like, all right, but what are we talking? Are we talking a mortgage payment? Or are we talking rent? Okay. If we're just talking utilities, then both you and your boyfriend can fuck off. Now, the dad's definitely a dick for like making you the bad guy instead of his son. I think he's tired of his son living there. Honestly, I think he's sick of that shit. He's like, now that not only is my deadbeat kid living with me, but he's fucking having his girlfriend move in too. This is ridiculous.
It sort of sounds like, again, like the dad asked them to move in to help with expenses. So it does sound like. Yeah. Like,
then he can fuck off. Like he should be doing the dishes himself.
Yeah. So it was a situation. They moved in because the dad was like, "Listen,
I missed that part.
Struggling at making ends meet." So that would sort of lead that there is some sort of like house payment or rent or something that is involved. But that being said, I mean, yeah, the dad is still being a dick. It's like you don't like to expect. Oh, just because you're like the younger, in-law, that means that you have to like clean up all my dishes. Like, fuck off. Like,
and they moved in to help him. They moved in to help him.
Right.
It's them, not the other way around.
Well, and the thing is, it should be the son doing that if that's the case. Look, if the son is like, hey, let's move in with my elderly parent who's kind of a fucking dick, or hey, even if they're not a dick, but like they're really, really sweet and has a stroke and can't do dishes. Be like, fine, but you're doing the fucking dishes. When my mom has a stroke and she can't do anything, you're not wiping her ass. You're not doing her dishes. I'll do that if anybody. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if it's your parent, but obviously, the boyfriend was away for the weekend. So but she does say that she is normally the one who cleans up. So like the expectation is there that she is like the housekeeper essentially.
I guess.
But I want to know, like, this is a lot to like, to is this the first time? I mean, the girl is sick. She's saying that she usually cleans up, but she's not feeling well right now, so she's taken ill right now. So
I forgot about that.
The first time, yeah. So it's not like if this is the first time she's sick and it doesn't happen, and they're just asking for advice is a little premature, and the father is really being a dick. Now she says she does this all along, so she's just sick. So that's being a dick. So tell your boyfriend, your dad's a dick. Tell your dad to stop being a dick. I'm sick.
Yeah.
Right. Or just be like, look, if you moved us in here to help your disabled father, A, tell him to quit being a dick. B, you're doing all the fucking grunt work here. You didn't. Okay. If your idea of helping your dad who can't do dishes is, don't worry, Dad, we'll move in to help you. I'll come and sit here while my girlfriend does all the shit. No, other way around. If it was your dad, yeah, then it's totally different. Your boyfriend shouldn't have to do a goddamn thing. And if you raised your voice to him, you would be in the wrong, like, but it's not that way. It's the other way around. Your dad can, or your boyfriend's dad can go fuck himself. Your boyfriend can go fuck himself even more just for having you move in there and put up with that. Because like at the end of the day, yeah, the dad did have a stroke or whatever. Like he's fucked up, but it's the boyfriend making you be the one to put up with this. If the boyfriend really, really gave a shit about you, it would either be I'll just, we're going to have our own place, but then I'm just going to go help out with the dad. Or I'm going to hire like an assistant for him, or I'm going to do something. I'm going to get him enrolled in some program. I don't know. But the fact that he's expecting you to do this now, again, I like to err against the person writing the question, but it's very hard for me to do that in this situation. I'm actually kind of bummed at myself.
Yeah, it's Polly, I think you were going to say something.
I just hate everyone involved. It's definitely the guy's fault. I mean, first of all, he's allowing the father to use his girlfriend as like the whipping board, and then he's not really pulling his own weight. And then so both men are kind of pretty weak-minded, I think, and they don't have their ducks in a row. And also, the father, he did have a stroke, so maybe he's a little surly, but like, if you're going to be throwing out like stock Rick Ross line quotes, like you're compensating for something. Like I paid the boss. I probably paid for the dishes and just wants everyone to know I paid for the dishes. They must be clean. I think.
That's very annoying.
I don't think he makes much money, but
no, that was James Brown. That was I was kidding when I said Smash Mouth. That was 100% James Brown.
Was it?
Yeah. What? No. It's James Brown.
It's probably very Googleable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's just like anything with hip hop R&B. They're just gonna rip off shit from the 70s and 60s anyway and call it sampling and remixes and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he said it, but it certainly wasn't him.
So here's my final advice for this person is definitely do not go out and do the dishes. Take care of yourself. You're sick. Even obviously like barricade yourself in your room in case he gets crazy. And then, when your boyfriend gets back from this vacation, which also the boyfriend should get the fuck back. Okay. The fact that like this is kind of blowing up and the boyfriend's just kind of like, I'll deal with it when I get home. When are you going to be home? Oh, I'm just going to live with this cycle by myself for the next 4 days. Like, fuck off, come home. Like, because this does not sound like an international trip to like Bolivia. You know what I mean? This sounds like a drive to the Poconos at best. Okay.
Yeah. Is this like a work thing? I kind of missed what he was doing.
He just went on a trip with friends. Like, I just had with the boys. What?
Yeah, he's definitely a product of his dad's shitty strokey jizz. This guy,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go off with my boys to the Poconos. I don't even think he's off with his friends at the Poconos. I think he's cutting a dumb lady's fish right now. That's what I think he's doing. I think he's out at a seafood restaurant with a cross-eyed woman who can't fucking figure out to scrape away from the bones.
Yeah. But yeah, so my advice is, don't do anything until your boyfriend gets home. Then when your boyfriend gets home, give an ultimatum and say, listen, either there are clear expectations of what I will and will not do. One of them is I will not do housework when I'm sick with strep throat, and your dad needs to understand that, or we move. And if the boyfriend at all comes back and babbles at her, then she just needs to get the fuck out. You need to get the fuck out. Like, that's a really, really fucking toxic situation. So what do you guys think she should do in such a sticky situation?
I think that she should probably try to get a job or something, because it's not working out, lady. You can't both be on someone's coattails and the guy you're mooching off of leaves.
Yeah, it's surprising how many questions we answer on this podcast, which all could be answered in a much more direct way with, hey, get a job.
Yeah, do we know? That is a good point. Do we know? Because that was sort of my red flag at the beginning, was her just saying costs and shit, not really getting too specific. Do we know what she does for work? I mean, did she even mention that she does work, that she does indeed split the cost? Okay, so she was just saying we, as in me and the boyfriend. She didn't really mention much about her working at all.
Well, it doesn't mean that she doesn't work. It means because it wasn't about whether or not she works. She's sick right now. You got to remember that. So she's home.
Yeah, sick. But I'm also like, if I work when I'm sick. You know what I mean? If your job is fucking some dude and doing the dishes, all right, you better have like early 2020 COVID. I ain't talking no 2 shots and a booster when you're skinny and in your 20s kind of COVID. All right. It better be some New York. We don't know what to do with it. Cuomo's still a hero. We're still all Cuomo-sexuals and everyone is dying. You better have that kind of fucking COVID. All right. If you're going to not do the dishes when it's your only fucking job and you're living there rent free. Now, if you do indeed work for a living, I take back everything I said just now, but I have a sneaking suspicion that you don't. And so that's kind of where I'm coming down with this. That said, if you do indeed work for a living, first of all, I'm behind on some comments. Amy on YouTube says, listen, I want a girl to clean my place. Please buy one for me for Christmas, please. Joel on YouTube says, I want a girl to clean my place too. Unfortunately, my wife wants to review the applicants. Joel says, I think we'll be a country ska band. Joel says the girlfriend got laid off from her fish cutting job. Yeah, apparently we need abs for that in certain parts of the fucking planet, man. I don't know. But
must say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if she doesn't have a job, I have 2 different sets of advice. If she doesn't have a job, I say either A, get a job, B, quit bitching and do those goddamn dishes, right? Like, those are your 2 options. All right, if she does have a job, very different advice. A, poison the old man, B, get him watching a lot of old school 90s anime, the very flashy kind that used to give people strokes and seizures. That's right. Give him round 2, give him another one. Or C, you remember how I said to that last lady or that last guy, have sex with the bridesmaid?
Yeah.
Find that guy who hopefully is listening with me. Have a 3-way. Set it up to where your boyfriend comes home from the Poconos at the same time, walks in on the whole thing, and it's like the end of a 90s romantic comedy of some kind. Yeah.
4 weddings and a funeral, I must say.
100%. Someone's gonna die in most of my advice, but just know that it's all for a good cause, and the ends will justify the means.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, I think we answered that question. Any other advice? No, good. Let's do one more question. I think we have time for one more quick one.
Absolutely. Last question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, if you have questions you would like to ask them, write them into loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com, or even better, watch live every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern and ask them live in the chat. But for now, we're going to take one last one from the sick psychopathic maniacs on Reddit.
Last question. My ex-brother-in-law doesn't want me to treat his kids differently. I'm 42 and I spoil my nephew Chris and spend a lot of time with him. Chris is my late sister's son. She died when he was 5 after a heart attack, and because she had an undetected heart condition. Chris spends a lot of time at our house where my parents, his grandparents, husband, 2 daughters, and son also live. Chris has his own room in our house, and he also has his own set of keys and comes and goes as he pleases. Chris also has a great bond with his cousins, who all consider him their brother. As far as my husband and I go, he's also our son and is included in everything we do for our kids. He goes with us on our vacations, and this year my husband and I bought him a car for his 16th birthday, just like we did for our eldest son. My parents and I also plan on paying his way through college the same as his cousins, since his ex-brother-in-law could never afford to. And my ex-brother-in-law wants me to now include his kids, 2 teenage stepsons and his 2 boys and daughter with his wife, into our time with Chris. He has his other kids get jealous of all of the attention and money we spend on Chris, and his wife feels like I'm driving a wedge between the kids, especially as their eldest son Tom also wants a car, but his parents can't afford it. They want me to make Chris share his car with Tom. I told him I would not persuade Chris to share. I don't like my ex-brother-in-law, and I certainly don't like his wife and their kids. They're obnoxious, mean little shits, but I obviously wouldn't treat them in any unkind manner. And I don't allow Chris to speak about them in a...
This is a woman writing the question, right?
Sorry?
This is a woman writing the question?
Yeah.
All right, a dude would never put up with this. All right, go ahead.
I don't feel like it's my responsibility to consider the other kids, but how do I deal with this situation? So what happened is, it's a woman, her sister passed away from a heart attack and left behind a kid. So this kid, she has a very close relationship with, spends a lot of time with, they take him on trips, et cetera, et cetera. But the kid's dad, so her ex-brother-in-law, got remarried and had other kids with another woman. So now the ex-brother-in-law and his wife are mad at the person writing the question, saying, listen, you're spending all this money and time with Chris. How come our other kids aren't getting any of that love?
Oh, man, I don't know.
We're not related to those other kids, motherfucker. We're not
right.
related to those
No
other
blood,
kids.
no glory.
This is
Those kids came
ridiculous.
later on. This is ridiculous. How dare you?
The fucking audacity.
This to me has
This is
$1 million baby
ridiculous.
written all over it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
But
100%.
they didn't care about her at all. And then when she got money, they come and she's quadriplegic, and they're like, hey, can you sign this so that we can get your benefit payment? Thanks.
Yeah, I could definitely see this family, grabbing a paralyzed woman's hand and just signing fucking checks and shit with it. That's 100% these people.
House
That is
company don't give
ridiculous.
us kids knows nothing. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you think society
That's what
works?
step
people?
families do. That's what step families do. Like if somebody like my friend has a child who does things with his father and kids on that end, she doesn't make his siblings go. That's his family with his family,
Yeah, I can't figure out what this lady's problem is. If she's a problem with the word off or the problem with the word fuck, or is she saying it is it the order of the words that she's getting mixed up with?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she needs to just tell her.
Yeah, I really think that this question in general is miscategorized. So it's so in Reddit, this came from the relationship advice thread, but there's another subreddit called it's am I an asshole or was I an asshole or something like that.
Yeah, am I an
It's
asshole?
really
Am I
good.
the asshole?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So this really should be in that subreddit. It's just verifying that she's not an asshole because she's not, buying things for these step kids who sound like terrible kids, and she's not even related to them. She obviously feels like some sort of matriarchal duty because her sister passed away. He doesn't have a mom anymore, so she's really stepped up and filled that role. She could have also told that kid to fuck. She could have told that kid to fuck off and not paid for anything.
Oh, yeah.
But she is really taken on, a guardian role for this kid. And now, her white trash brother-in-law is like, hey, you need to start buying presents for all my other litter. You know, it's like,
Right.
Right. It's like she's doing a great thing. She's looking after for him, and now cousin Eddie comes along and asks for an extra check, and it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But what society do people do that? It's just so.
I mean, I guess if let's say that Chris, the kid, is going back to if he's like being flashy with it or something like that, I guess like have a conversation with him to be like, look, I understand it's different, don't like flaunt it or whatever. Or the other thing is, this kid's 16. It's only like a couple more years, and then the kid's probably going to move out. It sounds terrible, but
oh yeah, this kid's getting out the second he fucking can.
Yeah,
he's going to emancipate himself. He's going to do that whole legal thing.
He's already almost 18. It sounds like he has a room at this person's house. It sounds like he already spends a lot of time there. It's like, I just think like she can either have an uncomfortable conversation where some hillbilly will probably show up into her driveway with a sawed-off shotgun, or she could just continue operating status quo and just like wait it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
or she could have Chris move in with her and be like, you know what? We're just gonna take Chris, and you don't have to worry about Chris because they're like you said, he already lives there. They already go on family vacations. He already just stay there full time and fuck your dad. Your dad's a dick.
Yeah. So he's legally, or I mean, like blood related to her, like his nephew. It's her nephew.
That's her nephew.
Is her blood related nephew. Yeah.
Yeah. I it's crazy. I mean, just look the guy in the eye and just be like, if you wanted me to help all of your kids, you shouldn't have driven my sister to have a fucking heart attack and die. Her death is your fault. Your kid's fucking poverty. You married a shitty woman because you're a shitty dude. Second, I don't know what my good woman sister was doing with your shitty ass, but she paid the price and she's dead now. I told her not to do it. Yeah. I fucking stood up in the wedding when the priest said, does anybody have anything to say? Yeah, Cletus is going to be the death of my sister. He's going to drive her to have a heart attack at 42. Fuck him. I'm not taking care of any kids he has from a second marriage. I'm not buying him cars. And she had to be dragged out of the fucking church. But you were right, like an oracle. You were right.
Like an oracle.
The amount of times I've read in a prenup, I will not take care of your kids from a second marriage. Oh, fine.
Right. Yeah. And it sucks. She's having to put up with problems that like Elon Musk or like Warren Beatty would have to put up with. Well, what about this lady who used to fuck a guy who did blah, 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 blah. It's like, she's like, I work at fucking Walgreens, okay? Like, I work at Walgreens. I'm not a matriarch of any kind of, like corporation. I didn't inherit shit. Come on, man. I shouldn't have to put up with this.
Yeah. A couple YouTube comments. Joel says, send the ex-brother-in-law and the rest of his family down in the mine to see if the gas level is safe, or have them lay down behind the wheels of cars and test the parking brake repeatedly. Wow.
Wow.
You're
That's
making me
Christmas
clutch my
spirit.
pearls.
100%. I like a good blue collar working man accident. Those are, you know what I mean? It's just sort of like, yeah, these are manual labor jobs, heavy equipments. They fall on motherfuckers, especially annoying guys with lots of shitty kids who won't leave me alone. They tend to, cars just fall on them constantly.
Brokeback Mountain, when the reason why Jake Gyllenhaal dies is because the tire exploded in his face, yet kind of looked like tire iron. Marks on
yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. This tire seems to be fine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of those kind of deals. Okay. Tim on YouTube says the external kinship are taking care of their own. The aunt is right. She owes the other kids nothing. Yeah. 100%. Joel says, I miss the good old days when you could settle family squabbles with a wood chipper and some lime. Yeah. 100%, man. 100%.
What's the lime for?
I was just gonna say that. Like, why do we need lime?
Wood chipper, that's obvious.
Lime is like it's like a powder that makes them decompose and makes them not smell.
Powder, it's a powder, not green lime.
Yeah, not the
powder.
Is that
like for your drink
it's a chemical.
Yeah. You think he went full Hannibal Lecter? This is going to be the most delicious accident this man's ever had. I'm going to
eat my in-laws with some lime.
But I'm bad at cutting. Clarice, could you cut my human guy for me? I can't seem to. I'm a cannibal, but I'm an evil genius, but I'm dumb in some ways, sort of like the Rain Man of eating people.
Amazing. Well, what other final advice do we have for this person?
You don't owe anybody. That's it. You just keep loving your nephew and fuck those other kids. They all suck.
Love your nephew. Don't cut any of their fish. And I would cut.
Yeah. And don't buy them a car, and don't buy anybody else a car.
Stop buying cars, Oprah. What are you doing?
Yo, what are you doing for a living?
No, she bought all the other kids cars. You can buy me a car. Do you want to adopt me?
Yeah, this is pretty crazy, man. I mean, I guess other than I mean, if you're not going to kill the guy, you got to just tell him to fuck off. I mean, you could maybe adopt the kid, but it's like, what else are you going to do, man? Are you going to be paying for the kid's college? And then this guy is going to be like, well, why can't my kids go on to do what they love, pay for them to work in a NASCAR pit, you know what I mean? And get the training to do that. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I guess you're just going to have to, suck it up and move and either like cut the kid off or be like, you can come live with me. And just, I'm sorry, I don't even have any funny advice to give. This last question like angered me. It like deep down angered.
Ooh. Jake does not get angry easily.
Yeah. No, normally I don't care. I have ice in my veins and I'm like, these people's problems are their own. Fuck them. I'm going to give them intentionally bad advice. I don't care. I'm really upset about it.
Don't do anything nice for people because a gang of crazy hillbillies with sawed-off shotguns want stuff from you. Just for being nice.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I have more ex-stepdads than I can count. Okay? Do any of them buy me toys? Fuck no. They barely bought me toys while they were fucking my mom. All right? If she was dead, you think they'd give me anything? No. They didn't even give me anything when she was alive and right down the street. They just went on fucking their goon boss that they left her for.
Goomba, not Goomba. Goomba
they say Goomba sometimes in Sopranos. No, they say it. They like half the time they say Goomba.
A buddy is Goomba.
Yeah, they say Goomba, but they say Goomba sometimes in Sopranos.
That's like a friend.
A Goomba.
Oh shit.
Friend.
Yeah,
that's why I've been so confused about these plot. Like, I'm like, dude, why do Tony and Sil want to? Why
He's not fucking them? They're just friends.
Tony and Sil are fucking each other all the time. What is? It doesn't show. They don't seem close like that.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I can't tell what they're saying half the time. I don't know. But either way,
glad we cleared that up, and glad we cleared up all of these questions.
Yes. This is a very good episode. Thank you so much to all the listeners. Yeah. Thank you to our two awesome guests, man. Thank you to Jenny Saldaña. Thank you to Paul Dagliolo. You guys were awesome. Thanks for rolling with this whole thing since we weren't able to do it in person. Sorry again, I wasn't able to make you guys the pizza. I'm fucking bummed. I have all this shit. I made the sauce from scratch. I made the dough from scratch. Good. Dude, I got it. I got all the...
We'll have a makeup date. We have to have a makeup date when you're done.
Yeah, we can do that.
100%, man. And again, it's funny because I don't think me and Amy aren't sick. Suzanne's not sick, but like everybody around us is getting sick. So it's just like, I don't know. We can't have people over. Like it would be irresponsible. I'm so fucking bummed out about this, man. But we're gonna do this next time. Thank you so much to you guys for being on the podcast. You guys were awesome. Go find them on social media. Go subscribe. Thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to everybody who watched it live. Thank you to Joel on YouTube, to Tim on YouTube. Thank you to Amy on YouTube. And thank you to all the listeners. Until next week, catch us live every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll catch you next Thursday. Later.